Did you ever want just good science fiction? And I mean straightforward, simple, not so simple, world-shattering science fiction. Something classic, something expansive, something that explores ideas. Well, we're going to get into that. Now, as I was saying, if you want world-bending, rule-breaking science fiction that explores new ideas, explores philosophical insights about humanity, the way classical science fiction used to, then you should probably get your hands on the complete works of John C. Wright. But make certain to get your hands on Richard Paolinelli in the same shopping trip, because he will do the exact same thing, usually using fewer $20 words. Now, Escaping Infinity was my introduction to a guy I'd easily put in the top 5 science fiction authors of today if he wrote more on this scale. And for the record, no, this is not the author who wrote Eragon. That's Christopher Paolini. Yes, I know, a lot of consonants, a lot of vowels. Just work with me here. Peter Childress and his buddy Charlie Womack are engineers driving the Phoenix, but Charlie's shortcut has them lost in the middle of the Arizona desert. When their car breaks down in the middle of the night, they figure they're well and truly screwed. Lucky for them, Peter and Charlie trip over the Infinity Hotel. Charlie can't help but enjoy all the hotel's casinos. Other delights. Peter, on the other hand, wonders where the front door disappeared to, and why the floors on the inside of the building seem to just keep going. Forever. If you hear all that and you think this is a science fiction version of the Twilight Zone taking place in the Hotel California, pretty much, sort of, after a fashion. Though if you're worried that the description that I've given you so far is going to spoil the plot, it only covers Chapter 2. Seriously. Our hero, Childress, has already started to piece together that the hotel is bigger on the inside by that point. And yes, the Hotel Infinity is bigger on the inside. If you should think that's bad, you should see the Star Trek references. Now, the style of the book is very novel-like. It's less Victor Hugo and more modern style novel, but Paolinelli is very much an artist without the pretension. It's smart, well thought out, a mystery that plays perfectly fair, and gives the reader all of the pieces and parts to figure out what the bloody blue heck is going on. However, you will not figure it out. Trust me. I will say that going from the prologue to Chapter 1 is disorienting. It kind of goes from David Weber-style space opera to a road trip in the Southwest. The last 10% of the book could have been a whole novel by itself, and still might be, depending on how Paolinelli plays it. But the ending we got gave a complete, satisfying conclusion to everything. The story, the characters, and the established world. Now, one of the nice things about Escaping Infinity is that everyone has a backstory, and I mean everybody. If they have a name and dialogue, they have a backstory. There's at least one chapter of biography for every named character. We know their full biography, effortlessly done. It's kind of a joy to watch Paolinelli do it. And while we're trying to escape the ultimate booby trap hotel, free the inhabitants, save the world, and figure out what the heck's going on, Paolinelli found time for a romance subplot that's very well done, surprisingly well done, and still ties into everything. Describing the world, I'm going to have to pass. One of the key elements to this is the mystery, and I can't explore the world building without spoilers on that. Sorry about that. Let's just say that Paolinelli uses very little and makes it effectively do a lot of heavy lifting. Now, the politics here are socially conservative, let's say. It favors small towns over big cities. Now, small is a few thousand instead of a few million, so your mileage may vary. It focuses a lot on family units, personal responsibilities, and that's pretty much as far as I can get to without spoilers. So don't worry, there's not a whole lot of left-wing, right-wing going on, unless you think all of that is one political side of the aisle or another. There is fade to black off-screen sex scene, one, and that's it. I don't even think there were any four-letter words in the book, so this was pretty tame as far as adult content goes. In fact, I don't think there was blood, I don't think there was language, no nudity that I can recall, and like I said, there is sex, it just happens off screen. It's so fade to black, I know it happened. That's pretty much it. I have seen people do a lot shorter in terms of sex scenes. It's more like, they went to bed the next morning is literally the next sentence. But aside from that, well, do you like The Twilight Zone? David Weber, John C. Wright, classical fiction that explored ideas without worrying what other people might think, then you're going to enjoy Escaping Infinity. You really are. At the end of the day, the book starts out like David Weber, continued as written by Rod Serling, and ends with the epic scope of John C. Wright. Richard Paolinelli obviously also thinks in terms of epic scope. I won't say that Richard Paolinelli is on par with John C. Wright just with this book. I'd give him a few more, and expect John C. Wright to have serious competition in the awe-inspiring scale category. As usual, you can find a link to the written review in our description. You can find the link to buy this book in the description. And of course, as always, you can visit the Upstream Review Substack at any point to see, I think we have over 500 book reviews by now. And as always, I'm Declan Finn, and Chief Cat Herder of Upstream Reviews, and out. Oh, yeah, and while I think about it, like, subscribe, share, blah blah blah, comment, etc. Algorithm stuff. I'll get a hold of this stuff eventually. And yes, as you can tell, I upgraded because people were telling me my microphone was dying. So we'll see how this works, shall we?